Welcome to 2022 Superbike YouTube channel. Before starting this, if you like this video, ring that bell and subscribe to my channel for future updates. 2022 BMW F750Gs. The first change for the F750Gs comes in the design. More harmonious, the mid-size trail has a less divisive face than when it arrived in 2012. The fairing sides gain sharp angles and no longer have that one-piece look of the 700. They are also more enveloping towards the bottom. The line of the motorcycle also changes on the side of the tank, which takes up a more classic place. Until then, it was placed at the motorcycle's rear with its characteristic fuel hatch positioned on the rear hull. The F750Gs will carry its bump into a more conventional position by abandoning this particularity in a desire for better mass centralization. And although 1 liter of fuel evaporated in the migration, 15 liters, there is nothing to worry about since the autonomy should always be around 300 km for a Lilliputian consumption of 4.1 L 100 km. This new real tank contrasts with the fluidity of the previous line, which linked the saddle and tank in the same gentle curve. The saddle, which went up very high in the crotch on the F700Gs, is seen cheerfully planned, while the tank comes out almost vertically from the engine. If the visual rendering is more striking, one wonders about the loss of comfort between the two generations. In return, the saddle is lowered by 5 mm for more accessibility. Be that as it may, this turnaround, in addition to improving the center of gravity, makes it possible to lighten the rear, which, in return, carries a very useful luggage rack as standard. And since it was time for the big move, the engineers also made the decision to reverse the position of the exhaust and the chain. The pot, therefore, turns to the right and the secondary transmission is exiled to the left. A pot on the right of the wheel avoids burning when you maneuver it from the left side, the side that is used the most. More heart. Reinvigorated by its new dress, the F750Gs can finally show its new heart. Faithful to the parallel twin that has driven it since 2012, the machine is gaining momentum. Set at 270 degrees against 360 degrees previously, the new twin cylinder is based on the previous 798 cm, whose bore and stroke have been increased to 84x77 mm. If it is slightly more powerful and more torquey on the usual revs, it should above all be livelier. Thus it will now be necessary to count on 77 horsepower at 7500 rpm and 8.4 mkg of torque at 6000 rpm to move the F750Gs, i.e. 2 horsepower and 0.5 mkg more than the F700. The 270 degrees engine setting, found on the MT-07, should also transform the vocalizations of the machine for a more powerful and rewarding rendering. And since the engineers took the criticisms into account, they also smoothed out unwanted engine vibration thanks to the dual center balance shafts. In addition to this new engine, the small FGS abandons its tubular trellis frame for a more rigid double steel beam. The swing arm is also redesigned for more rigidity. On the suspension side, the new non-inverted telescopic fork reminds us that the F750Gs is oriented even more toward the urban trail. The travel hitherto of 170 mm is reduced to 151 mm. The F750Gs clearly leaves its off-road desires to the F850Gs. The rear damping remains entrusted to the combined spring central shock absorber. The F750Gs is full of electronics, standard and, especially, optional. Let's start with the original endowment, which includes 2 driving modes, rain and road, traction control, ABS Pro, emergency call, a first on a mid-range model, dynamic brake lights since 2019, and a redesigned dashboard. But BMW obliges, it will be necessary to go through different accessory packs to take full advantage of its machine. Thus, it will already be possible to swap this classic cockpit for a much more modern high-tech 6.5-inch color TFT screen that allows you to manage the music, the telephone and the vital parameters of the machine. But other appetizers can quickly tempt you. It will thus be possible to equip the F750Gs with the Dynamic ESA electronically adjustable suspension, a shifter, Pro riding modes which integrate the Dynamic and the Enduro Pro being reserved for the F850Gs, dynamic brake light, full LED headlight with daytime running light, keyless ride, keyless start system, tire pressure control and 6.5-inch color TFT instrument panel. What do you think about this video? Do let us know down in the comment section below. If you enjoy this video and want to hear from us again, be sure to hit that subscribe button before you go.